Look, if we cock up, either of us, we can always start again, okay? So there's no pressure.
Yeah, that's good. That I'm very glad it's not live.
I've very much been known to mess up. Hello and welcome to the engine room from Finally. Today we have Adam Tipper from Next Gen Makers. Welcome, Adam.
Hi, Steve. Nice to be here.
Nice to meet you too. How are you feeling? Feeling nervous? Feeling prepared?
No, feeling good. Feeling good. Ready to go.
Excellent. Well, look, your first job, as you know the format, your first job is to give us your 30-second elevator pitch. Over to you.
Okay, so Next Gen Makers makes engineering and manufacturing firms of all sizes great at planning for, attracting and retaining skilled apprentice talent. So effectively, they have the skills required to future-proof and thrive in what is an ever-changing industry.
Oh, that was slick. Crikey, you only use up half your time.
There is another little bit I can add on if you like.
No, look, no, that's absolutely fine. So I always think like with marketing and messaging, if you can actually, even though you've got 30 seconds, if you can say what you do in 5 seconds, that's even better because it means you've got a really concise, really condensed message that is easy for people to understand.
It's took me 2.5 years to come up with that. People used to ask me at the start, and I'm like blah 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 blah.
I know, actually, it's even putting something when we've done this in the past, putting people kind of on the spot to think about their 30-second elevator pitch is actually quite a good exercise in itself because you think, right, yeah, actually, how do I say what we do in 30 seconds? I think saying what you do is one of the hardest things.
It is
when it comes to business succinctly because we can all rabbit on for hours about what we do, but actually saying it in a short period of time is hard. So that's absolutely fine. Yeah, no, we don't need more. You said it all in 15 seconds.
I guess so.
The next section is the big three. So I want to find out a little bit more about you. So the first question is, what is your favorite quote that you like to live by?
I'd have to say it's Einstein's definition of insanity in terms of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. The reason I like that is because I'm very much an ideas person. I like ideas. I like innovation.
Yeah, I love that. I'm very much the same here. I think sometimes, and I would say, in many sectors, we're much more comfortable following what everyone else is doing. Because if we see someone else doing that, we think, oh, we could do that too. But actually, the people that really make the great ground are the people that think differently and do things that other people aren't doing. So, yeah, love that. Right up my street. So what is your view on the future of UK manufacturing?
Okay, so anybody that knows me knows I'm massively passionate about UK manufacturing, and I want to see it thrive. I want to see it have a long, prosperous future. The problem at the moment is that is very much at risk. Across the UK, there's a 186,000 annual skills shortage from now until 2024, according to a government study. According to another government study, 20% of the current engineering workforce is due to retire by 2026. So what that sort of means is we've got one hell of a window of opportunity in the next 5 years to do something about that. Because how long really does it take to take on an apprentice, let's say, and train them to the point where you could feasibly and be confident that they could take the place of a retiring time-served engineer? How long is that? Minimum of 5 years it's got to be, hasn't it? I think the thing is, for us to enact change, we have to get away from the tired rhetoric. I've been in and around engineering and manufacturing for the best part of 15 years, and the rhetoric, whether it's in the media or industry conversations about the skill shortage, hasn't changed for the whole of that time. It's like, yeah, we've got a skill shortage, big numbers, and then it kind of stops, and like nobody says what they're going to do about it. So the whole point of Next Gen Makers was it recognises that status quo has delivered the skills deficit that we have at the moment for UK engineering and manufacturing. And we're kind of like a challenger brand and a disruptor, looking at a more proactive way to tackle the reasons why young people aren't coming into engineering, or young people are leaving engineering, because there is a huge issue that doesn't get spoken about in the UK manufacturing sector of apprentice retention.
So why do you think not enough young people are going into engineering?
I think it's a mixture of things. I think it's, dated perceptions, a lack of careers guidance relevant to engineering and what it's actually like and the breadth of opportunities available. I think, there's a real disconnect between industry on one side and young people in schools and colleges on another. And it's all about having a mechanism to bring those two audiences together. For example, to inspire more young people to come into engineering and change perceptions, we created the UK's first, and I think only, engineering career-specific resource. It's just in the West Midlands at the moment, but we've got plans to take it national. And it's the only thing that careers leaders, teachers, parents, young people can reference that maps out, the opportunities in engineering, companies on their doorstep in engineering and manufacturing, career paths, local training providers where they can find apprenticeships or full-time courses all in one place. And as we know, if we unify the many voices into one single source, it has more chance of resonating, and that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, I guess in a way, the younger you can get to people as well, so they actually see this route as an option, is important as well. And I don't know, I just sometimes think that, when you get to a certain age, you've got a choice between, going down the degree route, for example, the higher education, and you've also got the route of actually going into work. And I do still feel that the route of going into work early is devalued.
Yeah.
And it's considered the lesser path of the other path. And probably parents push their kids into degrees because it makes them feel better that their kids are doing the right thing, possibly. What do you think about that?
I think parents now are probably my generation, aren't they? In my generation, we're told when we left school to, don't go into a trade, go in, get a desk job, go into IT, work with computers. I wish I'd never been told that. I wish I had got a trade, to be honest, and I wish I had looked at something like engineering. I think there's just still a bit of a misunderstanding of what apprenticeships involve, and the fact you can get degrees through apprenticeships now, but a hell of a lot of vocational on the job learning as well, which for a sector like engineering is crucial in terms of having those vocational skills and learning in addition to more theoretical underpinning of what you're doing. So I think it's just about putting more information out there to update people's thinking and reframe how they think about apprenticeships and engineering as an option.
Right, perfect. I thought it was really interesting. Your final question of the big three is, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned during your time in manufacturing?
Okay, so as I say, I've been working in and around manufacturing for about 15 years, give or take. What I've learned is that the UK is still a world leader for engineering, innovation, ideas, ingenuity. It's a world leader, and engineers tend to be very proud of that and very proud of the work that they do. But as a collective society in the UK, we don't really acknowledge it. So in countries like Germany, for example, society perceives engineers totally different to how we perceive engineers in the UK. They hold them in as much regard as doctors and lawyers. And it makes sense, because an engineer's value and engineering's value to the economy, to society, is of immense value. So we kind of need to reframe how society views engineers, I think, in the UK. And we're doing that through our Engineering Careers Prospectus project and the work we do in schools and colleges.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. I think you're right. I think it's a kind of need a change of mindset, don't we? Really?
Yeah, it's a change of mindset's vital. Because it is an incredible career. That's the thing that like perplexes me. It's like with engineering, you can feasibly start out as an apprentice, progress to director level, or start your own company, run a company. You can travel the world. It's above average earnings versus other potential careers. There's opportunity for progression, variety in industries and roles. It's just what isn't to like, and it's just getting that information out there to more young people and influencers of young people as well.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Adam. So your question of the week is, what is the Engineering Apprenticeships Best Practice Programme and why was it created?
Okay, the why behind it is really important. So it recognises that we talk a lot about the skill shortage, don't we? I referenced the big numbers earlier on. What we don't talk about is there are actually manufacturing and engineering companies out there in the UK that are like, what skill shortage? You know, we're oversubscribed. We don't struggle to retain apprentices. You know, we'd be really annoyed if we lost one apprentice after training them up. And the idea of this best practice program was formed from me learning more about these types of companies that are out there that are having a lot of success running apprenticeship schemes, linking them back to achieving high-level business goals and being successful in terms of future-proofing their businesses as a result. So what we did was we spent a lot of time talking to them, looking into what they did, how and why. And what emerged, we spoke to about 7 different companies in total, from corporates to SMEs, a breadth of sectors, industries, all totally different. But in talking to them, how they approach strategy and skills planning, how they approach implementing a pro-apprentice culture within their business, where apprentices are made to feel valued, included and celebrated, how they go about engaging with schools and colleges locally to attract the best young engineering talent, and then their approach to mentoring and developing apprentices when they're on their apprenticeship schemes. Everything that they did was very, very similar to each other. And we spoke to a lot of industry that were struggling to attract or retain young talent, particularly apprentices. And it turned out it transpired that they weren't doing these kind of things. So the whole idea behind the best practice program is we've created a blueprint for success. So there is a roadmap, a paint by numbers approach to running a winning apprenticeship scheme that has been created off the back of feedback from SME and corporate engineering and manufacturing companies. And our aim is to take that roadmap to industry that are struggling to find young engineers and retain young engineers and say that there is a different way. You know, it's not, what's the point in repeating methods that are proven not to work over and over again when you can look at what's worked for other people and replicate that from using resources provided.
Yeah, that's brilliant. It makes total sense. You know, but we're similar here, really. We've made lots of mistakes over many years, and you just got to, you know, you can kind of put that into this sort of blueprint, like you are, and give everyone the opportunity to sort of hit the ground running, really, as opposed to like having to go through the same pitfalls everybody else has done. So I think it's a brilliant scheme. As you said earlier, the massive skill shortage, which I didn't actually realize it was quite as significant, as you mentioned, was 168,000 people, was that right?
186 young engineers every single year, the next 5 years, yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Anyway, doing a great job. I think it makes total sense. And yeah, get in contact with Adam if you need help with your apprenticeship schemes, really. So this was Adam Tipper, Next Gen Makers. Adam, thanks so much for being in the engine room. It was a real pleasure to speak to you, and keep up the great work.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Adam. Cheers.
Bye-bye.